Dude, is good, yo. It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we're going to be going over the NBA 2K23 Season 2 MyTEAM Awards. So, who is the MVP of Season 2? Who is the most underrated player? The most inconsistent? The best budget card? We're going to be breaking all of that down here in this video. Now, before we dive any further into that, if you guys are new to my channel and have not yet, make sure you smash that subscribe button as we're on the road towards 110,000 subscribers. Now, we're going to start off here with the cheesiest card from Season 2. Now, there's a lot of cheesy cards. But we got to start off with the two being Ricky Davis and Tim Thomas. When you talk about guys that can go get you a bucket, those two, in my opinion, are at the very top of my specific list. Now, you guys might have your own favorite players, such as maybe like a Kobe Bryant. Maybe you guys love like a Penny Hardaway, John Wall type of card. But I think Ricky Davis and Tim Thomas have to be up there, okay? Both guys that can just go get you a bucket. Offensively, absolutely elite. Definitely my first two guys. The last guy I got on here as far as the top three candidate is Magic Johnson. Now, why is Magic cheesy? He's 6'9" at the point guard position. Do I need to even say anything more? 6'9" at the power, or at that, I might have said power forward. I meant the point guard position. That is so cheesy, especially early game. Now, it didn't matter as much when we got Penny Hardaway the following week. For me, it's got to be Tim Thomas. As far as guys that are close, like if you play Park Pro-Am, this Tim Thomas, if you have a Park or Pro-Am guard, is going to be the closest movement-wise, shot-wise that you are probably going to get nearly all year long. Tim Thomas definitely is up there for being one of the most cheesy cards. Might be the most cheesy card for a specific time all year long. Next up, we get the defensive player of the season, starting it off with a center being Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Why? He's 7'2". He's got a mid-90s speed if you do give him Monty Williams. What else do you need? Now, offensively, I get it. Kareem might not be the best considering his three ball is not super high. Not going to do that much for you on the offensive end, but defensively, absolutely elite. Next up, LeBron James. Why do I love LeBron James? Why do I play LeBron James? Defense, defense, defense. As well as he does have the ability to run to the rim and get you a bucket. But for me, it's primarily because of the defensive end of the court. 6'9", wide player model, wide player build, as well as just gets incredible animations. It's hard to really explain unless you use LeBron, but if you use LeBron, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He gets some of the best animations on both ends of the court in the entire game. Last but certainly not least, Ron Artest. Ron's got good tendencies, man, and he's going to beat the opponent's main ball handler up. The guy I personally hate going against the most, as far as a primary defensive player, is Ron Artest. He gets bumpy with my point guards and just does what he wants to do. Now, for me, Ron didn't even play in quals, so that kind of hurts his value because I had Jimmy Butler and Ricky Davis. So for me, it's got to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Whether you want to run Hakeem, whether you want to run a guy like Dwight Howard, none of those guys really, even Wilt Chamberlain, none of those guys really compare to what Kareem gives you on that defensive end of the court. And because that margin is so wide, he's got to be our defensive player of the season. Next up is our most overrated card that we did see in Season 2 of MyTEAM. Starting off with Pink Diamond Kevin Durant. I remember when Kevin Durant came out, and I said, I don't think this card makes the best squad in the game. Everybody in my comments was like, Ty, you don't know what you're talking about, this and that. I'll give you guys credit. Yes, I do believe Kevin Durant is a top 5 small forward in the game. But I don't love the card. His fade is crazy. People are like, this is the cheesiest fade in the game. I mean, who's really fading going left with Kevin Durant consistently? Not many people. Next up, Kobe Bryant. A lot of people ran him in quals. I was not one of them. Now, I'm not up here saying Kobe Bryant's bad. I just think Ricky Davis is better, and I personally think Jimmy Butler is better. That is why Kobe Bryant's on this overrated list. Klay Thompson, last but not least, might be the best pure sharpshooter in the entire game. But the problem with that is this game is more than just the ability to shoot. You got to be able to drive and dunk, got to be able to create your own shot. That's where Klay does struggle a little bit. But for me, KD takes the cake. And that's not me saying KD's bad. I just think he's massively overrated. Next, the most underrated card in Season 2 of MyTEAM. A lot of budget cards on here. A lot of cards you have seen on my No Money Spent Squad series. Starting with Alex Caruso. For more than half of the season, Alex Caruso not only played on my No Money Spent squad series, but also did play on my road to the 250K tournament until I got John Wall, until I got Penny Hardaway. He can compete at any level. Don't let the diamond 92 overall fool you. Next up, Jared Vanderbilt. Similar to a guy like Alex Caruso, he's been on my No Money Spent squad series nearly since the day he came out. Great 3-and-D option at that power forward position. And then Franz Wagner, the only amethyst on this list, who I think, coming out day one of the season, has really held his value. Now, a lot of the reason I like Franz, just because of his player model, I think he's 6'9", and he has an absolutely incredible release in my team. For me, it's Alex Caruso. A diamond card that is a 92 overall that played for most of the season on my Road to 250K account. That should tell you guys enough. Next up, we got our best takeover card that we have seen from Season 2 of my team. Now, Corey Maggette didn't quite make the cut, but just know Corey Maggette is also really, really solid in my team, and we'll get to where he's at. Corey Maggette, Eddie Jones. I put Eddie Jones on this one because he came out earlier in the season, so maybe was a better value specifically for when he was out, but that's really the only reason. Al Horford. That's where we're going to start because that's who I've used the most of. I got him on my Road to 250K account by just grinding the game. I was playing Triple Threat Online. Happened to get him, and I love him, man. He knocks down shots at a very high clip, competes on the defensive end of the court. Problem with Al Horford is the fact that his speed's a little low and he's only 6'10". Now, again, at the power forward position, it's fine. Just wish his speed was a little bit higher. OG Anunoby might be one of the best 3-and-D guys in the entire game. Smooth release, great defensively, all around really solid. Eddie Jones, really good. I just don't love the release of Eddie Jones. I feel like his release point is just a little bit too low for me and my specific liking. For me, it's Al Horford. I think he definitely takes the cake as our best takeover reward from Season 2. Next, we got our best Evo, including 3 Evos here from the glitch set. First one, PJ Tucker. Talk about guys with a smooth release. PJ Tucker's got one of the smoothest in my team. I think he did get an athleticism boost as well to make him a little bit faster. Problem with PJ is he's only 6'5". If he was a little bit taller, might be a little bit higher on him, but only being 6'5" definitely does hurt his value a little bit. Jared Vanderbilt, again, similar to what I've said earlier, he's been playing on my No Money Spent for a very long time, and he's still holding his spot down. Because of that specifically, he's gotta be on this Evo, award kind of ceremony. Next up, Ziaire Williams. A lot of people have been hyping up Ziaire Williams, and deservedly so. Good release, solid defensively, and just a really solid overall card in my team. For me though, it's gotta be Vando. 6'9", can shoot, can play great defense. Gotta give him the award. Next up, the best trophy case award. Now, we're just going to be talking about the dark matters here because these guys just did become available. Now, if you're wondering, why did Dr. J not win the MVP? I just wanted them to have a specific award because not that many people had Dr. J. So I didn't feel right, saying, okay, after 2 days because I played with Dr. J, he's our, MVP. And honestly, I don't even think he's better than Tim Thomas, but that's a discussion for its own day. Now, starting with Dr. J. At the shooting guard position, is there a more complete shooting guard right now in my team? No, not a more complete one. Is Ricky Davis maybe cheesier? Sure, I'll be the first to say that, but I don't think he's better than Dr. J. Dr. J, our most complete shooting guard in my team. Then we get Tim Duncan from the West. For me, I did a gameplay with Tim Duncan. I just didn't love the card. Defensively, I 100% agree at the power forward position. He's probably your best option defensively. But again, the offensive side of the ball matters, right? And Tim Duncan's release is just not good in my opinion. For me, it's easy. Dr. J is our best dark matter that we saw from the trophy case kind of so far out of Tim Duncan and Dr. J. Next up, our best dynamic duo. Started off with Devin Booker and Mikal Bridges. Look, Devin Booker is not good, but the duo did give him Hall of Fame clamps. So at least, if you grinded Devin Booker and for some reason you wanted, let's say you're a Suns fan and you wanted to lock in Mikal Bridges, like the duo is not useless, right? You can make use of the duo, so not completely worthless at that. Bradley Beal, Kelly Oubre Jr. up next, our next duo. Again, I'm not necessarily the highest on this duo, but it was usable. So like if you were No Money Spent, you could definitely use Bradley Beal with Kelly Oubre Jr. and make use of it. Now, Part of the reason I'm not as high on duos as I once was is because duos used to be usable in my team limited. Like this Diao and Nicholas Batum duo. That duo would have been good. The problem is it makes the cards kind of too good to even make use of them in limited stuff like that. Really, our only usable duo we saw this season, after maybe the initial launch day, which I didn't count those, is Mikal Bridges and Devin Booker. I feel like this is the duo that most people, if they did use a duo this season, probably made use of. Next up, guys, we do have our budget MVP. So all three of these cards are cards you probably saw in my No Money Spent squad series, which I would definitely recommend you guys watching if you guys are trying to build your squad without spending money. Now, Alex Caruso up first. I said it before and I'll say it again. When it comes down to if you were No Money Spent this kind of season in general, Alex Caruso was your was what this award kind of exemplifies. The most valuable player you could have as a budget baller in my team. Caruso could play D, could hold it down offensively at 6'4", could compete against those guys like Gary Payton, like John Wall, and just held it down all season long. Lance Stevenson, very similar at that shooting guard position. I might not have been as high on Lance when he first came out as I should have been, but I quickly learned. I mean, his defense was very solid. He's only 6'5", but he played a lot taller than that because of his wide player build. Just really like Lance Stevenson. And then Jared Vanderbilt. Again, a guy that played for me all season long on my No Money Spent squad series that was just a great 3-and-D option. I gave it to Alex Caruso, though, because if you played for my Road to 250K for that long, I got to put some respect on your name. Mr. Inconsistent up next. Now, this award basically goes to cards that one day I feel like, okay, this card is elite, maybe the best player at his specific position, to then the next day being like, golly, does this guy even play for my squad? Starting with Ben Simmons. When Ben Simmons first came out, I didn't even bat an eye. I was just like, okay, this card, I mean, might be cool if you're no money spent squad, but he just doesn't play. He can't shoot. Then I saw people greening threes with Ben Simmons, and I was like, okay, maybe he does play. And you guys saw my No Money Spent squad series, I greened some threes with Ben Simmons. Some days with his quick first step and his defense, stuff like that, he feels like the best power forward for budget ballers in the entire game. And then other days, I just am like, golly, give me a guy that can shoot the ball. So Mr. Inconsistent, Ben Simmons right there. Then Dwight Howard. Dwight, I literally thought about playing over Anthony Davis in quals, starting him over Anthony Davis. And then in quals, I really noticed, man, his release is pretty slow, right? And that's one thing that did hold me back in quals was the fact that I did not shoot good with Dwight Howard because a lot of his shots were just easily contested, or I just shot early zone because the release was that slow. And then Magic Johnson up last. I bought a really juiced Magic because I was like, this card is for sure going to play in quals. But then when Penny came out, I really started thinking, like, Magic's kind of a one-trick pony. He can't really handle the ball. Like, at least with Penny Hardaway, he gives you some sort of offense. Magic Johnson really doesn't. And so who I did think was the best point guard in the game quickly declined. To me, I got to give it to Dwight Howard because he played in quals. And honestly, I was pretty let down with his performance, to say the least. Next up, guys, we do have our MVP from Season 2 at 3 different positions. The first position we're going to talk about is our point guard position in the middle, Penny Hardaway. Talk about who I think is the most undisputed best player at his position. It's Penny Hardaway. How can you argue that Penny Hardaway is not the best point guard in the game? I mean, I get if you want offense, you could maybe go John Wall. Defense, you go Magic Johnson. But the best of all-around point guard, it's Penny Hardaway by a wide margin, especially on current gen. Next up, shooting guard, Ricky Davis. You could argue Kobe Bryant. You could argue, Jimmy Butler as your best shooting guard, even Ron Artest. For me, Ricky Davis does it all. One of the most underrated defensive players in the entire game. I love his defense being 6'7". And then Tim Thomas, 6'10", like a my player, can move and groove, can do it all. Tim Thomas definitely has to be up for discussion. My MVP, gotta be Tim Thomas. If you didn't lock him in, I mean, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but just know Tim Thomas is going to be up there as far as one of the best cards in the game for quite some time. Next up, the All-AMI team. Anthony Simons at the point guard position, a card that if you are No Money Spent, you can definitely use and have a lot of success with. Next up, guys, you got Caris LeVert at the 2, another guy. I think Caris LeVert, look, and you guys don't have to agree with me, I personally think Caris LeVert is one of the most underrated cards in the entire game. I like his release. I like his defense with it being glitched. He can basically do it all on the court. Franz Wagner at the 3. I talked about Franz enough in this video, so I don't want to bore you guys too much, but just know Franz Wagner can get it done. Jeremy Grant at the 4. Probably maybe run him at the 3, Franz at the 4. Either way, both those guys deserve to be included on this AMI team. Jeremy Grant was a free moments card who was very solid. And then Jared Allen at the 5. No surprise there. Jared Allen, I did have to sadly quick sell him when it came down to my Nobody Spent Squad series and in the challenge I was doing, but still a very great option at that center position. Next up, guys, the All Diamond team headlined by our starting point guard, Alex Caruso. Corey Maggette at the 2. Like I said, we'd show Corey Maggette some love later on in this video because we did obviously give Eddie Jones the advantage in the TAKEOVER reward MVP kind of section. But Corey Maggette really solid, 6'6", very good stats as well. OG Anunoby at our 3. Now you guys might be surprised, but again, great 3-and-D option, another TAKEOVER reward. Vando at the 4, great 3-and-D option at that power forward position with Al Horford at that 5. Big Al obviously holds it down. A card who, look, I can never slander what Al Horford provides for me as far as a great, I'm going to say it, 3-and-D option at the center position. Next all Pink Diamond team. It's crazy because this was nearly the starting lineup I ran in quals outside of the fact that I had, I personally ran AD over a guy like Dwight Howard. But here you guys can see, okay? Obviously, Penny Hardaway started at the point guard position. Ricky Davis at the 2. Tim Thomas at the 3. D12 at the 4. Kareem at the 5. Very solid all the way around. Dwight did sell me in quals, but I mean, I still had to include him. If there was another Pink Diamond I really wanted to show love to, it would be Pink Diamond Ron, who most of you guys know I am a pretty big fan of. Next up, guys, we do see the All Opal team headlined by, basically all trophy case cards. Now, it was either Gilbert Arenas or CP3 at the 1. I lean Gilbert Arenas. Clyde at the 2, Jimmy at the 3, Paul George at the 4, and Anthony Davis at the 5. If you're wondering where Patrick Ewing is, I'm sorry. He just didn't quite make the cut. But that is going to wrap it up for our video award ceremony from Season 2, guys. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.